Chronicles, my weekly reading chit chat, and I actually did finish a few things, which is unusual for me. So let's get started. The first thing I finished was the audiobook that I've been have mentioned already, and that was The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro. I really enjoyed it and gave it 5 stars. I think it's a really unusual book because it's a modern retelling of the matter of Britain, so the Arthurian legends, even though Arthur himself doesn't really play a role except through some of the characters, but they're in that world of Arthurian legend. And I really did get sort of echoes of Kafka, which sounds strange, so it's sort of a Kafka-esque fantasy novel. And what I mean by that is, from what I remember of Kafka, reading Kafka a long time ago, is in every encounter with other people had this aura of, could go either way in terms of positive or negative, could be turned into a threatening, and there were always sort of layers of things that were in the air and they were not really clearly addressed, and that was sort of central to this novel. And there are many different themes, but one of the main themes was the reliability or lack of reliability of memory, and what do you do when some entity is deliberately messing with your memories and repressing them, some outside entity, and how that makes you just kind of occupy a very weird and unsure place in terms of your interactions with the world. I really enjoyed it, but I also do know, because I listened to it, I really want to go back and read it as a text. And it did remind me a lot of T.H. White, and so I listened to the T.H. White 4 or 5 books about the matter of Britain, and I also thought they were very wonderful. And I think it's interesting that Ishiguro is putting himself in that kind of genealogy of writing one of these books to do with that. So interesting and unusual. It is an unusual novel, but I really enjoyed it and I thought it was well done, and it was a pleasure to listen to it because the narrator was wonderful. But I do think I would in a way like to, as a future project, go back and actually read both the T.H. Whites and The Buried Giant. So that was that, and I was very happy to have read that or chosen to listen to that. The next novel I had, it was the one I picked up to have as a sort of easy read alongside the recognitions that I actually didn't really get to it all this week, but I'm going to be on a roll to try and get to it this week. That was Wish You Were Here by Stewart. Over 500 pages of sort of quintessential, typical American family. So a matriarch and her sister-in-law and the matriarch's 2 children, and then their children. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because one spouse isn't there, 6, 7, 8, 9 people, and a dog who does kind of play an important role in the book, Rufus. So, and they go to a holiday cottage that belongs to Emily, the matriarch, who's fairly recently widowed, and it's all about their last holiday in this cottage. So it's infused with this aura of melancholy and sadness because they won't be coming back to this cottage because Emily has decided to sell it. And so we get to know the family really, really well. It's full of mundane details of them living in this cottage, and they're all sleeping in one room at the top except for the 2 older ladies. And it's almost too much. Like at the end, there's a scene where one of them, the son, has had a bad meal at the restaurant, and the repercussions of that bad meal are told to us in great detail. And I don't know if I really needed to know that much about this poor person's bowel movements, but there you go. That's the kind of novel this is. So, and I think sometimes there is a little bit of the showing what a good writer he is when Onan does sort of dwell on these really mundane things. And so, of course, because it's a pretty long novel, there are people who I was more interested in their internal thoughts, or who I thought just were better executed as characters than others. And so for me, as an older person, perhaps I just was not as interested in the kids' stuff, all the kids' stuff. There's a kind of interesting plot element where one of the two female cousins are close and one of them decides she's in love and has a crush on the other one. Yeah, and then the two boys. I'm just not that into kids stuff and kids worlds. I mean, I'm sorry, I just didn't think it was that interesting to me. Emily, the matriarch, the older lady, who is not beloved by anyone really. They don't like her, and I like her. Maybe because I'm an Emily, I don't know. But I like her internal thoughts, and I like the scenes when it was just her. Although sometimes even there she has these weird interactions with, she's trying to kill ants at some point, and then at the end there's an interaction with a fly, which is like, okay, whatever. I think it could have been shorter. But on the other hand, he is a very good writer, and there were passages that were delightful. And the son, he's quite well depicted. Didn't have much of a good relationship with the one black sheep daughter, which is too bad because usually I'm sort of, on the side of the black sheep. But in this case, I just thought she was sort of selfish and a bit of a, I don't know, I'm with Emily, who could never figure out why. Well, and also the son's wife. Also, I don't know. She was just jealous of every woman. She's jealous of Emily. She's jealous of the sister. So get over yourself. Come on. I mean, grow up. Basically, is what I want to say there. But I guess easier said than done. Whatever. And so, a good read. You're immersed in very kind of mundane stuff, and I don't know. Some people don't really want that from their reading, which I kind of understand. And I had picked it up as sort of a getaway book from the recognitions, and I didn't even realize that it was over 500 pages long. But yet I did read it very quickly, and I did a little bit of skimming, but not that much. I really did read the whole thing, but even I had I did sort of read quickly through some passages, just because I wanted to get it done so I can sort of re-immerse myself in my big read, which is the recognitions, which I haven't really gotten to at all this past week. So I give it 4 stars. So Buried Giant was 5 stars. Wish You Were Here was 4 stars. Doesn't quite make it to the 5-star. And I'm pretty lenient with my 5 stars. So, and then the last thing I just finished, and it's kind of put me in a bit of a bad mood, was the only book I have here, Winter by Ellie Smith, which I really, really didn't like that much. I didn't care for the characters. I didn't think it's that well written. My Goodread review is 1 sentence, and it says something about it's too intentionally referential. It's like she makes her characters spout, jokes about philosophers and Shakespeare, and it's like, that's fine if it's done in a like in the Recognitions, which is also a book dripping with erudite observations about life, but it's just much better done, I think. This one. And one thing I think is strange, maybe it's just me, and maybe it's my moderate leanings coming through, even though politically I'm all over the place. But it's as if so one of the sisters in the book, Iris, is an activist, and she's sort of one of these people who change herself to, extremely against nuclear armament, rearmament and stuff like that. So, a lefty, let's put it that way. But they're depicted in such an unsympathetic way. Selfish, self-indulgent, weirdly kind of dogmatic and ideologically sort of puritanical, and dismissive of Sophie, who's also kind of strange. I mean, she is a strange person. I mean, all of them are strange, and they don't really seem that, they didn't really, I don't know. And even Daniel, who I liked in the other book, here I just think he's a bit of a, he kind of goes after Sophia, but I don't know. So this was a 2-star read for me. I don't know. And I'm going to continue with Spring, because I've heard that Spring is better than, or some people like it better. But I did not like this. Charlie Chaplin, all these references to stuff. I don't know. It just kind of, it didn't really come together in a satisfying way. And I didn't think the writing was that well, or the characterization. So yeah, I'm sorry to say I was not that into Winter. But I'm glad I'm still part of the project, and I will continue. I'll probably even do summer as well, because, I'm a bit of a completist sometimes. So that leaves me with the things that I'm still So I'm sort of looking at my books here. I haven't really prepared this that well. So here's the recognitions, which I'm going to try. I think I'm going to try and be good. So one thing is that now I'm teaching. So now I'm already kind of noticing it's such a different mode of existence for me. Today I was really tired. And so you're kind of getting the semester Grimm reader is a little bit different than the happy-go-lucky Christmas holiday Grimm reader. That's just the way it is. But I'm still committed to reading this because I do love the bits that I've written, but I read already. And so I think what I'm going to try and do is have a daily allotment, maybe try and read 10 a day or something like that, which doesn't sound like anything, but this is the kind of book where you could make lots of annotations. And then I'm still kind of unsure, per usual. It was the book I didn't want to give away, but put aside, but then did kind of put aside because I wanted to finish Wish You Were Here, A Tree Grows of Brooklyn. I think because it's this semester, I think I really just need to concentrate on the recognitions. And so I think even though I ideally want to read this, I think I am going to set it aside, focus on the recognitions, and then maybe pick up a purely escapist read, because I watch a lot of channels, and I was watching I think it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and she had mentioned one of her favorite writers. So I dip into genre stuff to see if I can find something to my liking. For example, I did like the Murderbot, the number 1 of the Murderbot, and I actually have number 2, but I'm sort of saving it because I want to explore other things a little bit. And the other thing I'm sort of debating, and I might add, I do have some vlog footage, so I do like the vlog style too. And I even went so far as to set up an account where I can have access to royalty-free music to add to my videos, just because it's fun. I actually kind of like it. But I don't want to dilute the brand, so to speak, I don't know. But so I'm debating whether to add some of my vlog footage from last week is extremely cat-centric, which I know is going to be terrifically boring for some people, even though it's like, oh, adorable kitties for others. So I'll see if I add some here, or maybe even make a vlog separate. And if any of you who are watching, and thank you all for watching, if you made it to 12 minutes, if you have any input on what you would like to see, or what you think, if you have ideas for, how to mesh the vlog stuff and the actual pure reading review stuff, which even in my case is very chatty, as you can tell. Like, I just watched Alex, who, one of my favorite channels is, I think it's What Page Are You On, Alex, and he gave us his weekly round, January roundup, and just so succinct and to the point, and these great reviews of a bunch of books. See, I don't really do that, do I? I chat all over the place. It's just, it's just a different style, and that's fine. But I'm in awe of people who are very, like, Claire is like that too. So yeah, that's just sort of what the future of how do I do vlogs separately? Can I insert some vlog stuff here? We'll have to see. But we're already at 13 minutes, and thank you all for watching. I hope you're all doing well. Please comment in if you have a comment on any of these things that you've read. And I'd like to hear if you've read The Buried Giant, what you thought of it, especially, and perhaps Stewart Onan too. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.